Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting and amazing Propagandacast from your host, ImperialDane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, psych defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 own. You guessed it, it is Dreux Scout. In the west, it is Lord and Witchdoctor fighting for the I'm about to say the Commonwealth. No, it's this Red Army, the Soviet Union, taking on the role here of the first Guards tank corps here with Soviet Shock Army, airborne troops and Guard motor, and Mechanized Support here with anti-tank and ambush tactics, Guards rifle, marked vehicle, Sturmwix strafing runs, and ISU 152 heavy assault guns. And the east it is the ImperialDane himself and ToxicGrenadier, forming up here with the Panzergrenadier Division Brandenburg, with Breakthrough featuring breakthrough tactics, Panzerfusiliere, Sturmoffiziers, assault artillery, and the Jagdtiger. Alongside German Infantry, the 250-1 half-track, veteran squad leaders, stormtroopers, assault and hold, and fragmentation bombs. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my paid supporters, these champions and heroes who make the Propagandacast possible. You too can join the ranks by pledging on Patreon or donate via PayPal. Links in the video description. Always comment, like, share, subscribe, press the bell button. So we're off to those here with a double Panzer start here for ToxicGrenadier. Pretty bold in some ways, since typically Panzer is slightly underperformed compared to other infantry to start with, though once upgraded, they start to really perform. In the north, we got me with the Grenadiers, MD42. We got here a penal trooper start for Lord alongside Mechanized Support, Witchdoctor meanwhile going for a more conventional heavy conscript build, the Panzerfusilier and Sturmpioniere leading the way there. Grenadiers swinging southwards here, the machine gun pioneers keeping somewhat close to each other up north. He's slightly risky what I'm doing there, honestly, but we shall see how that works out. South here, Sturmpionier engineers being baited into position or prepared here by Witchdoctor. Conscripts already dug in, ready to resist any German approach. Engineers moving forward, so we got the penal troops out here as well for Lord, the Strafniki. Up north here, pioneers running off here to deny them cover around here. There we go. Skirmishing in the south, penal troopers, the Grenadiers. Heavy cover there to some degree versus units in light cover. Need to reposition the Grenadiers here. We got another Grenadier squad running for me here. In the south, you can see their ToxicGrenadier and Witchdoctor clashing as well here. Bit of light skirmish, going to bait them into position where you can better fight them rather than into the head cover. I think that is tactically very wise there. In the centre, we got engineers flanking my Grenadiers alongside the penal troopers, and up here MD42 catching the engineers. Pioneers moving to assist. We got a northern flank here with the conscript. Fighting is getting pretty intense across most of the battlefield here. Third Grenadier squad for me. Second penal squad there for Lord. Witchdoctor with triple conscript engineers. And we got a third Panzer squad out here for ToxicGrenadier with the truck here. Likely Belgrade headquarters. And then fast mechanized command to start upgrading his Panzerfusilier. The faster the better. Meanwhile, Witchdoctor adding the flamethrowers to light a fire there under the fascist feet. North here, we position the machine gun trying to catch those penal troopers with Lord so far. He's doing a fairly good job keeping them out of range of the machine gun. He's caught here. Machine guns flank those quite exposed. Troops heading out there from the base. Others reinforcing. Tech on the way there. Penal position 40. Also got the Scout Columns done, which is going to definitely add some pressure there to me. In the south, we can see ToxicGrenadier, though, is losing ground here to the Soviets. As the continuing force of the Panzerfusilier is being forced back here. Battle headquarters going up there. Troops rushing forwards again. The machine gun is looking to set up a new position here as I buy time. Scout car here, and of course, I am concerned about a scout car here as well. So that's definitely not something I'm keeping in mind here. While I also definitely want to take out fast, those typically tend to be a little more aggressive than tech. But I definitely want that out to run the safe for someone go for a fast Panzergrenadier squad or something like that. I want this ability to go for a scout car pretty fast in case of the M31, or to go for half track. Films are being mauled by MD42 Grenadier fire there up north, constant caught up here as well. In the south centre, we got a couple on hit there by Witchdoctor as ToxicGrenadier is finding himself still under a lot of pressure here. Penal troops back, but we got the scout car rushing in here for Lord, going straight here for my Grenadiers. Get a Panther assault here, won't be enough to deal with that for now. Still a bit of a short on resources here, in particular fuel for the armoured car. So that will take a bit longer for me to get out of line here, the scout car to get away for the most part. North here, this was the penal troopers, only 2 men versus 6 penal troopers. Definitely not a favourite engagement there for my Grenadiers at all. Swinging up here in the south. Looking to hit some of the car flank, patching up here into Lord. Instead of just bashing his head into a wall here against Witchdoctor, he's looking to do a bit more maneuver fighting, which I think is definitely one approach. Though, of course, he needs to be careful doesn't hand the fuel point in the south to the enemy in the process. On the scout car here, he's definitely going for it, but it's also meaning his troops are easy targets for a lot of the other troops. I think he just focused down the Germans here. And he Doesn't get the scout car. Oh, he does get it. But does cost kind of mean my armored car here, which just arrives, won't be of quite as much use. You could have just gone for 251 half track with a 250 half track, but that's that. That said, he could of course go for another scout car. We do get the Sturm Officer out of the ToxicGrenadier. Thumbs up. I think it's a fairly good but overlooked unit in many Oberkommanders players' arsenal. People Northwards here. Then he's holding up here, and we got the 222 out here, the like the Punchy Speerwagen. Moving 4 vets for Deutschland, and these are flame for engineers. Got a Tellermine down here, but in case of a fast T-70. In which case I think this is a good spot to have the Tellermine in. Plus looking at the and using up the flamethrowers. I'm also like, you know, to at least some degree fairly certain he's not gonna like hit me with a sudden minesweep and that way deal with it too fast either. We got Guard Motor by here for Witchdoctor with T-35s, heavy mortars, Gas Rifle Infantry, Vehicle Crew Repair Train, of course the venerable T-35 alongside Mark Vehicle. Lord's called in 1 guard squad here already. I imagine that's going to be equipped with some DP light machines as soon as possible. Calling in some stormtroopers here around the cut-off point, immediately equipping them with the MP40s, the Schmeiser. But there we go, running into 2 conscript squads here. And not great terrain here, particularly not without the MP40s there for the stormtroopers encounter 2 conscript squads there. Unfortunately for me, but of course fortunately for my Soviet opponent. Armament coming in up north point being seized by the veteran grenadiers, of course, part of the German doctrine of the veteran squad leaders. Gives them access to an assault rifle, another member. And once the veterans won, they get free healing. Which is one of the reasons I really like German infantry. Guard squad out there for Witchdoctor as well. Panzers in the Sturmwaffe here going at it in the centre. Fighting back and forth with the fuel pump, and I'm also able to reach the northern fuel point, so we can sort of slightly cancel out the fuel there though. Worth noting, both side of play should take me able to go for like a T-70 Bernard, but neither has set up for it, so that's a definite reprieve here for us Germans. Armament car pushing in, puny MD-40 taking northwards, veteran grenadiers with the guard squad. And we've got troops reinforcing here. Need more munitions for the veteran squad upgrades there, of course. In the south here, Panzer is now equipped here with the upgrades as the conscripts. Seizing us on the field point, offers a bag of base here for some reinforcements and healing. Now the push, we got anti-tank rifles on the penal troopers, certainly indicating here that Lord really wants my armoured car to go away permanently if possible. They get caught here with the guard squad anyways. And lose the armoured car anyways because I am in a putz. So that was obviously just a really bad judgment call there by me. Stormtrooper 40 here, 1 kill. Stormtroopers are taking losses grenadiers as well. Trying to close from the storms, there's too many Soviet infantry, particularly the penal troops here, make it very difficult for my stormtroopers to close in there, in particular with the approach I took, which is definitely suboptimal for my stormtroopers to get close. Definitely suboptimal, but quickly moving back to reinforce heal. And we've got another truck here, ToxicGrenadier, it's going to just take a hit there. Makes sense to be honest. Got the officer moving up to rejoin the front line. And the South Witchdoctor here looking to once more swing towards the southern field point. Reinforcing healing here, lining up for the next great push for Germany. Deutschland. And fun fact, the icon on the storms was actually that of the Brandenburger Panzergrenadier Division. Initially, the Brandenburgers were actually like a special operations units, but they kind of scrapped that for them at one point, I think roughly midway through the war, and basically turned them into a Panzergrenadier Division, which would later be part of the Großdeutschland Panzerkorps. Fun fact! Storms sitting out there. Little fun fact about the MP40, but sort of roughly at some point throughout the war, the Germans actually tried to make a MP40 with a larger capacity magazine, well basically just 2 32 box magazines stuck together, and then a MP40 could basically just feed off both of the what was known as double feed system. That though was quickly scrapped, I think in part because technically it was fairly complicated to make, but also like it was just fairly heavy as well. But you know, it was a little thing that they tried. Almost got the penal troopers here. If we get a wipe, that'd obviously be quite good for me and less good for Lord. And there we go, gets the wipe there, meaning Lord is actually now short infantry compared to me, who's got a total of 4 infantry squad. Storm's pulling in the guardsmen, but I'm taking a lot of damage here. I could have popped a smoke grenade to make this easy on myself. We do get a Banham grenade there, forcing them away. The south here though, ToxicGrenadier and Witchdoctor continue to fight out here. Got Maxims out there for Witchdoctor. No heavy mortars though, which could be a pretty good addition. Schwerer Panzer quarters up, no authorization for that yet. Flying around the carve point here from a Lord. Got to take on the way for me. A bit bold, but I feel like the way we got the resources, and again, in fact, I got a Telemine there. I'm fairly confident in this Telemine, by the way, which probably I shouldn't be if I have to be perfectly honest in hindsight. But I'm going to try and, rush ahead here, which again is admittedly fairly ballsy. But again, I'm working part of again just, fairly successful harassment. In fact, they haven't been able to control the fuel point in the south too well for long either. But that said, it is a bit of a high-stakes gamble here. Though, of course, it's also slightly supported by the fact I've got stormtroopers, so in pinch, I can also add Panzerschrecks to them to, further shore up against, enemy armor. But what I'm doing is fairly risky. I wouldn't recommend to everyone. Comes the rad from the carve point. South here, we've got the point that's held up by Witchdoctor. Steel hand grenade there. We also got artillery raining down. The light infantry, which is a good addition, and lost a grenadier squad here. Not upgraded though, but still definitely a bit painful for me. Storms closely wiped out. We'll need to retreat those. Machine gun sitting up here, and I'm even popping the insanely arm piercing rounds. Casting the troops here. Got the tech done. Maybe want to call in another stormtrooper squad or some PanzerGrenadier here. There you go. Second stormtrooper squad out, adding the MP40 to those as well. Got the veteran grenades with there, go grenade off. Remember the storms against the guardsmen, routing them. That's it, the Germans are operating with a lot of submachines. They also operated with captured Soviet PPH-41s, which they would also in a large quantity actually convert to using German ammunition and magazines. Little fun fact there as well. Another push again. Note he's trying to at times avoid attacking straight into Witchdoctor's lines. We're actually looking for a deep flank there. That is tactically very sound. They're still keeping some force here to keep the attention drawn towards here. So thumbs up the ToxicGrenadier, keeping some flexible sight on the battlefield there. Force comes in for me currently is 2 stormtrooper squads with MP40s and 2 veteran squad leaders. Definitely a fairly assault heavy army there. But I do wish I'd gone for a half track at some point here. 250 half track I think would be quite good for me right about now as well. But I'm obviously at this stage more focused pushing out armor and definitely should do that. But after that, half track to back up would be a fairly good addition. Also note, in this case, both players have pushed for their mechanized armor companies. In this case, also helping me not get punished for a tier 3 brush myself either. Guys, then push out in the open. That said, of course, we'll be on the receiving end of T-34-6s and T-30-35, so, minor relief in that sense. ToxicGrenadier has got his offs up there to Vetsty 2. Most of his punts will be similarly as well. Guys, support here, we got the Stormtrooper as well here to assist. Gonna pop Tactical Advance here, which gives them a nice 50% accuracy bonus, which is really good for dealing a lot of damage very fast at the close angles here, at close quarters. Easily one of my favourite abilities here. And one reason I do like using the Stormtroopers. The Tactical Advance ability is just great. Though, won't deny, I do miss it when they had access to assault rifles instead. That was really good. And there's a Pomacop there. Being head against the Years there. We'll need to retreat fast or the Stormtroopers will absolutely annihilate them. Just going for the center storms with the conscripts. Spud hand grenade off there. Need to treat those that Stormtrooper. Punch pushing forward. See, got the opposite heading Vegetable 3. Very good there. Also allows to get faster than Vegetable 4 and the very good Vegetable 5, which is a significant boost to the Sturmhoff is there. Because he gets a Sturmgewehr himself, but also an overall rate of fire bonus there to the entire unit. Panther on the way for me. We got the T-34-6 out here for Lord. There we go, bit of a hidey ambush there, and then at the right point, popping Tactical Advance there, getting the drop, then the Guardsmen immediately dropping several of them. Though in this case, there's a second Guard squad nearby, and at this point, I don't have munitions for a smoke grenade, but it did the job for sure, and definitely threw off a bit here. Lord's advance on the field point. Looks like there was some smoke deployed here to cover in advance, but didn't quite pan out there. Got the T-34 rushing ahead here, backed up the Guard squad. Machine gun moving in, Panther almost done, and the T-34 hits the Telemine. paying that off quite nicely. Now, of course, I just hope we can catch up with the T-34-6 and put it out of my misery. That said, he'll probably in troops try and carry out the retreat of the T-34-6 if possible. Enforcing, Storms with their 9 kills, half 8 of infantry almost. Machine gun there, veteran grenadiers as the garrison, and they're quickly sent packing. Going up in the centre with the penal trooper squad in the south here. ToxicGrenadier laying claim to the southern victory point. We got 390 versus 360, so fairly close in those regards. Pushing ahead here with the Panther 4 and the Stormtroopers, caught here by the car point though. And Witchdoctor is bringing the T-3045 in his own. So in this regard, the buttoning here from the Guardsman Trent, from pursuing the T-34-6 and finishing them off there, so good work by Lord. Raffinero against the penal troopers, Panther dealing with the conscripts out in the open, MD-42 joining in as well. Stormtrooper reinforcing, others moving back, the Pioneers are sort of waiting some Grenadiers to heal them up. And there you go, Grenadier squad sent packing as more troops swarm in here from the Red Army in the centre and the south. Another push here forwards. We got a Panther for ToxicGrenadier as well, the Panzerkampfwagen 4 Asfaltjord. T-35 has arrived here, he neatly tears in into ToxicGrenadier's advance. His Storm Officer there's Veteran 4 already. Panther to deal with the surge in the centre. Machine setting up here to defend the northern field point. Both Stormtrooper squads good to go. And then go T-35 for the Grenadiers in the south here. Panther 4 squaring off with the T-35. Panther 4 moving in here in the north. Good hit on the T-34-6. Raffinero joining in here to bombard the engineers. North the Guardsmen pinned to the ground right before the X-Men enter into the point neutral. So bit of bad luck there for Lord, but good for me. Storm Pioneer setting out. Stormtroopers in there. We should go for the Stuke Sympathy. Want to see the T-35. That should very much be a compelling reason to go for the Stuke. And there you go. Sturmgeschützler as von Gernley for me. Stormtroopers right here with the T-35. Adding a Panzer Strike for a bit of extra anti-tank as realize I'm getting swarmed by Soviet armor for both players. So having some Panzer Strikes can, be a bit of extra insurance against such elements. Need to also fix up the Panther 4 soon. In fact, I may want to consider another Pioneer squad in the near future. And I still need to also consider like some half tracks. Either 250 or 251. Panther 4 their half health, but that's into 1. Panther 4 with the damage in the centre here for ToxicGrenadier. You got the T-34 there rampaging away. It's also worth noting Witchdoctor is down to just 2 conscript squads. He needs to be careful with his infantry losses. He definitely needs to start replacing them. Just having 2 conscript squads, which is about to risk losing 1, is definitely not okay. North here we've got the Grenadiers versus the Guardsmen. So definitely Witchdoctor, they need to work a bit on his unit preservation versus the Germans. And that T-35 is in dire need of repairs. We do get another Engineer squad here for Witchdoctor. And he finally calls another Guard squad to replace the ones he lost at some point. Now the T-34-6 here for Lord, who's already got 2 Guard squads out already. Stuke 3D they're arriving. There you go, T-34 straight to the Stormtroopers and the Panther 4. You got a bit of blitzkrieg maneuver here by me. Going for that T-34, of course, need to be careful now, don't overextend here. Stuke arriving, Stormtroopers retreating as they take too much damage from the Guardsmen out in the open. Really should go for some Pioneer. Stuke falling a bit back here, Stormtroopers then before tuning into positions. Guardsmen are suppressed. Allowing the Stormtrooper quick close in and just force them away there. Easy peasy, a lemon squeezy. Stormtroopers close there to the east level. Still got a bit more to go. Sturmgeschützler gaming up there. Going straight for this russische Schwein and gets a great hit through the front line of the T-34-6. Almost guarded here. Need to come up to go throw away the Stuke here, though pointlessly. Got some marked targeting on it. T-54 going for it. Panther going to assist. Gotta be a bit close here, but there you go. Backs off, allowing the Stuke to get another hit if he needs to. Looks like the Panther 4. And there we go. Got the T-34, 76. Good kill there for Deutschland. Definitely a painful blow there to Lord, losing one of his tanks in the south here. Witchdoctor's making fairly good progress. I'm still surprised seeing no heavy mortars though from him. They'd be, I think, fairly good at pressing both ToxicGrenadier and me. So that is definitely something that stands out there in my perspective. And we do have the ace level Sturmoffizier there with the Sturmgewehr. Panther 4, they're both in repairs. I'm bringing another Pioneer squad finally. Sandbags up from Witchdoctor. Fjölgen shoots bounces off the Panther 4 1 kilometer. That is pretty lucky there for ToxicGrenadier. Also worth noting he's just flooding resources at the moment. Not in touch with his planning here. Could be a Panther, could be a King Tiger, could be a Yak Tiger. Smoke being deployed here though, thumbs up to that. Good use of smoke to disrupt the opponent's formation. Stormtrooper's going to be pushed back with the T-34 to the Guardsman. Sturmoffizier moving in. Technically the Arctic is slightly more accessible in terms of resources and everything else than the King Tiger, but obviously has some limits compared to the Königstiger. North veterans from the unit's got a Rafkin for taking out the unit. Lord there working a field gun. He's obviously, I think, at this rate not going to get an ISU-152 out at all. T-55 arriving, got a Katusha on the way there for Witchdoctor. He's bringing artillery, though again I feel like he should be going for the heavy mortar rather than the Katusha and just go for more tanks, honestly, here. Stuke half A to Veteran T2. Panther 4 is already there with the Schutzen. But it's clearly not a Panther, and so far he's not making a move towards getting a mechanized range. There's a chance here that ToxicGrenadier is actually planning a Yak Tiger, which would definitely be a bold move. Shot fired, T-54 coming in there. We've seen the getting hammered, almost wiped out in fact. Very close to wipe out. Got the film up in the Panther 4, good shot there. We go machine gun wiped out. Storms coming in, then we backed up with the Grenadiers. And Veteran 2 getting those Stormtroopers. Reinforcement in there and healing going on. Since the Stormtroopers Veteran want to get that healing there. Does he go for the Yak Tiger? Does he not? That's the big question. And yes, he does. I was a bit surprised at that myself in the match, but go figure. Almost got the T-54 in Stuke getting buttoned up, but also gains Veteran 2. And gets the T-54 from 6. I need to somehow get the Stuke out and rushing. The Storms to pop a smoke grenade to assist with that. Obviously went in a bit too far with the Stuke. For some reason having a bit of a hard time getting to move back the way I want to. T-54 flanking in here. The Panther was also half health. There we go. Oh, shatters the tree. Stuke definitely does not take the path they wanted it to. They'll probably misclicked. And there we go. Lost the Sturmgeschütz. Great kill there for the Russians, or the Soviets. My Panther was also now in trouble. I'm bringing another Stuke, but for now I'm definitely suffering the wrath of the Red Army here, trying to get the Panther away here. But the T-55 is aggressively pursuing it. In the center here we got ToxicGrenadier versus Witchdoctor. The Yak Tiger this moving forward, equipped with 128 millimeter gun. Up north here, Panther 4 blitzing, trying to get it out of there safely. But that's not quite going the way I wanted to, and they're going to counter the T-55 anyways. Halfway to the east on that Panther 4, but also in the grave. So that cost me most of my armor there. ToxicGrenadier is blasting apart the search in the center with his Panzerfleet, the Sturmoffizier, and of course Panther 4. And I guess even the Yak Tiger is doing something there with its massive oversized gun. Panther 4 shoots. North we got the Veteran needs to storm to the Guardsman. We got air support raining down here, trying to clear some of my stuff, doesn't quite work out. Stormtrooper reach the ace level, the apex of Deutschland. Panzer IV the guardsmen, Panzer IV the front close next to 2 Jagdtiger holding back here for now. In the south here we've got the T-Fed fighter, we've got more T-Fed forces of Lord, but his armoured forces are certainly fairly depleted. First Sturmgeschütz arriving here, I could still benefit a lot from a half-tack to be honest. Better goes in the near, Stormtrooper grabbing the northern field point here. South point is there by the Panzerverlierer. They're really doing some heavy work once they get upgraded. Jagdtiger so far, not so much. I imagine it's having a psychological effect on the Soviets. But comrades, it's really big! And he has like a really big gun too. Push back the counters there. Grenade off against it, got the T-Fed wing evaporating half the Panzer they scored. I definitely feel like Witchdoctor looks something. He's also still short in infantry. At least Lord has 4 squads, but he's lacking in the other stuff to support them. Meanwhile, Witchdoctor's got plenty of support, but he's lacking the infantry. I also feel like you really shouldn't be going for that many maxims without, you know, more infantry. Got a infrared half-taker to the Uhu. Now that's an interesting choice there by ToxicGrenadier. North 8, T-Fed wing 40, Stormtrooper doing hammer there, Panzerschreck. Stug moving in, Grenadiers ME-40 as well. Another hit from the Panzerschreck there, doing quite a bit of damage to the T-Fed, full line the Stug 2 doing more damage as well, and almost push it down to quarter health. There we go, can choose a badge off there, wipes out the machine gun Grenadiers, Pioneers retreating, heavy losses in North 8. The 3rd Panzer Grenadier Company. In the south here, Jagdtiger getting in a bit more damage, but otherwise not really landing any significant impacts on the Red Army. Troops reinforcing healing, and there you go, 2nd Sturmgeschütz out, just gonna like, you know, be ready for like any other sort of like large scale sword assault in my direction in terms of armor. Having a pair of Stooks can definitely do lots of blunt that when you then also say add in a Panzerschreck. And of course the Stormtroopers and the Western Grenadiers can also fairly well deal with infantry. They really should go for a half-track at some point, particularly since the Stormtroopers really benefit from working with half-tracks, in my opinion. Jagdtiger moving in, could we see some high explosive shells here being utilised. Smoke being deployed around the centre, and then go great in the T-Fed for 5 there, massive gun just slams right through the armour. Witchdoctor with an HE5 tank shot, that's going to be a bit undergun compared to the Jagdtiger, and there you go. Main gun up, Panther 4 finishes off it, a huge blow there to Witchdoctor and the Red Army. Guards there annihilated. T-Fed rushing in from the north here to assist. Of course, it's going to risk being flanked here by my Sturmgeschütz. In the centre, on the south, Panther moving 40, back doubling up. The Panzers are pushing forward, so they've got the max and they're banded. Things are falling apart for Witchdoctor pretty rapidly now. Lord is trying to assist, but he's definitely being a bit concerned, probably about my forces, you know, hitting him in the rear, which is exactly what I am intending to do. But there you go, Finland blocking the Stoogs here. We've got the Grenadiers bringing Stormtroopers as well here. You can quickly deal with the field gun. Grab the centre as well there. I'm going to pop Assault and Hold, one of my favourite abilities in the game. Gives a nice accuracy boost to all units here, but also allows to grab points faster, well, infantry units specifically. So that really makes my best grenadiers, but also my Stormtroopers much better. And there you go, got the T-34 from 6, depriving Lord once more of any tanks there. That's because grenading the guards from the penal troops there. Stormtroopers need to retreat here, Stooks falling back once more, and going for an Austin for a bit of added anti-infantry. But again, I could still go for like half tracks instead, honestly. But that's that. Jagdtiger holding forwards, issued fast setting up here. Front line still a bit strenuous. But in terms of force composition, the Surts are definitely looking much worse, when particular Witchdoctor's forces are looking pretty dicey, to put it generously. When ToxicGrenadier's kind of all the player, like, you know, in the best overall state there. Close mention on that Jagdtiger. Got the Austrian flak plans ready here to support the frontline Truppen. Should consider upgrading my Stooks with some Pinlemounted machine Gewehren. Push here by ToxicGrenadier, charging ahead here. Pushing straight through Witchdoctor here. Panther being bound here by the HE5 and the field guns. We've got gas when they're lining up as well to support. Panzers rushing straight to the maximum here. Moving in with the troops from the north, flanking the HE5 there with this 75 with a Sturmkanone. And there we go. Got the HE5 almost knocked out here. One more hit from the Stooks, and that's going to be it for that one. And there we go. HE5 kaput. Up north, progress also being made here. Easily Austrian called support. Aircraft being hammered at by the flak Panzer. And this, the Soviet situation is looking pretty bad. Even got high close shells being deployed against the Soviet troops here from the Yak Tiger, destroying the field gun in the process. Black Panther into SST. Couple of troops from the north here. We've got a maximum setting up. Storm's going to move into that. I'm going to try and set up a smoke grenade here. For some reason, it does not fire off as the guy throwing it dies, and then it cancels the entire order. So yeah, that kind of sucked a bit there. And they'll be pinned. There you go, flak hunting with the Soviet troops here, and there you go. So it's drop out there. Well, one does, and then the other follows up pretty soon here. So with that, it is a GG. And a loss for the Red Army. A fierce fight here. A lot of back and forth, very condensed match in some ways, but some nice action in particular, you know, some nice Sturmgeschütz action. And then I feel like there were some issues there with the third force composition. Also tactically at times relied too much on brute force, not enough on maneuvers, like trying to catch me or ToxicGrenadier off guard. There's also, I think, a definite lack of mines, which made it easy for me to ToxicGrenadier, like, you know, make good solid pushes against the Soviets. So there are definitely some issues there. And I also feel like both of them going for the Mechanized Support company and neither say going for T-Sim, at least an anti-aircraft tower attack, was also, I think, a definite mistake there. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell friends, tell family, but don't tell enemies. This is ImperialDane. Cheers. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.